This video is about what I would do if I had to start my filmmaking career all over again starting today. So let's go.
I'm going to shoot something really big.
Welcome if you're new here. This is the channel where we teach you how to monetize your filmmaking career and sell your original content. So with today's kind of craziness in production and in the motion picture industry, in the television industry, in the web series industry, sometimes I think we feel like we're going to have to start this whole thing over again. And so I asked myself recently what I would do if I had to start my career all over again. And when I started, it was a much smaller industry. There weren't as many people with access to it, right? And now if you've got a DSLR camera and if you've got a great idea, you can make something important and get it seen without any permission from Hollywood. When I was starting out, it was all about, access and who you know, and it's changed so differently now. So what would I do if I had to sort of start all over and begin from square one, or at least begin from a place where I didn't have any access to anybody to sort of get things made? And it's what I did to get here. Maybe 10 or 11 years ago, I realized that I was building an audience around a particular project I was making, and that the industry was paying attention to me. And I was able to communicate to the industry why what I was making mattered and how I had proof that it was worth them paying attention to. First, I would start out by being seen as an expert. And experts are what Hollywood hires now. They don't hire generalists, people who wander from genre to genre or from sort of subject matter to subject matter. They hire people who specialize, right? And I would start communicating and giving context to the world via the internet why I was an expert and why what I did was difficult to achieve and why I was the perfect person for that. I would start owning a subject matter. So let me give you an example. It could be maybe I make content about people living unrealized lives, or people at a crossroads in their life, or people overcoming trauma. So one of the ways I explain how I'm an expert at something is I create what's called an XYZ statement. They understand what kind of content you make, who it's for, and by what process you make it in, right? So my work helps this type of person achieve this result through this mechanism or this process. So if you can say that, you're in really good shape. So now that's the way you can communicate your expertise. That's the way you can continue to tell the industry over and over again that same statement. So whenever anybody asks you, what do you make? You give them your XYZ statement. So that means that when the industry is talking about you, they're saying the thing you told them you were. They aren't defining you for you. You're defining yourself, and they are repeating it back. And that's when you know you're in great shape. So that's the expertise part of it. Now, what I would do also is you can't just go in anymore with a good idea. And I'm telling you this right now. I sit on the buying side more often than not, and I hear pitch after pitch after pitch, and 99% of them don't make it through. And they don't make it through because either it's just a good idea or it's not a great idea, right? But if it's just a good idea, as buyers, we have access to that constantly. Like, I have access to so many great ideas and so much talent, so that's not the differentiator anymore. I call agents, I can call studio heads, I can call executives, I can call I can call talent directly, right? So I have access to a ton of creative. So what's the difference? Well, the people we typically work with and the people we typically purchase things from are people who have made a market impression. They've had impact on the market. And what does that mean? It means they have an audience. So if you know what you want to be known for and you can explain your expertise, now it's time to contextualize to a stranger why what you do is important, right? And why they need to be in your world and why they need to come in and be part of what you create. And the way to do that is by creating a ton of micro content, by giving them context in terms of what you make. So if you are making content for people at a crossroads, be an expert at that subject and talk about it openly, honestly. And I'm here to tell you, vulnerability builds so much trust with an audience. If you talk about how you yourself were at a crossroads or you yourself were living an unrealized life, they all of a sudden, those people who are experiencing that in their life, feel like you're solving their problem or feel like they can identify with you. Now they're part of your tribe. So the studio mechanism, right? The studio industry and the buying industry and the distribution industry, they respond to seeing that the content you create has impact on an audience and collects and draws those audiences to you. It's called social proof. You have social proof that your work matters to an audience. And it doesn't have to be huge. It just needs to show that there's data behind what you're doing and saying, look, my audience is engaged with me over a long period of time and I'm growing in this fashion. Therefore, what I do is important. If you, Mr. or Mrs. Distributor or Mr. or Mrs. Studio, put money into those numbers, into my audience, we can grow that audience. Because if I've grown this amount with nothing, we can grow with something, we can grow exponentially. So now you've just given them something that they want, which is eyeballs. You have just proven to them that you're an expert at what you make and that you have an impact on the industry and are able to draw an audience, and that if they contribute to that and if they invest in that, that they will get results, because they're very conservative and risk averse. So if you can show that you're a low risk, that's good to go. So this is what I would do, and this is what I ended up doing to be able to work consistently, to be able to pitch on demand. So where are we? Expertise, audience. So the third thing I would do is create a bulletproof pitch around my work. Not just a project, but why I'm a game changer. Being able to explain and contextualize why what you do is important is the linchpin to being able to pitch at will. And if you're not pitching, you don't have a business. I hate to say that, but if you're just making a ton of stuff and you never pitch it to people who can make a difference, you don't have a business. You have what's called an expensive hobby. I don't mean to be a naysayer, but let's just get real. I think you need to answer a couple of questions. Like I mentioned this earlier. What is it that you do that's difficult to achieve? The reason you need an answer for that is so that you can't be taken out of the process. Studios will often buy an idea and give it to their friends, and you kind of sit on the sidelines with a shaky deal and back end and things like that. Next, I would have an answer for what you do that's unexpected, right? Is it that you have a revolutionary structure? Is it that your stuff comes from a place of heart? Is it that, you develop a certain kind of character that they don't get to see very often? That X factor, be able to say what it is that X factor, that intangible, right? Forget the, I work hard and I'm passionate, because nobody cares. Get in line, everybody does, right? Then I would have a very concrete explanation of what they get by working with you. What do they buy when they buy your work? What are they getting? What are the results? Be able to talk about their business problem that they need solving, which is they need to either sell subscriptions, movie tickets, or ad units. Those are the three things they're into. That's what the industry is. The industry is, in fact, a film marketing business, not a filmmaking business. Production business is a filmmaking business. But the industry we talk about, the people who pay for stuff, that is a film marketing business. And they need eyeballs. And so be able to solve that problem for them. What do they get when they get you, when they buy your stuff? How does it help them drive audience? Who is this for? Everything that you're pitching to a particular studio should be directed at their audience. Your audience should have some overlap with theirs. So in the end, it's be able to explain your expertise, be an expert at something, right? Whether it's a genre or whether it's a subject matter or a theme. Next, be able to bring social proof to the industry that your work can draw an audience. And third, be able to show the industry in a pitch setting that you are a game changer. So I hope this has helped, but don't forget to click the like button. It really helps this channel grow. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and the notification button so that you get notified of upcoming videos. And I can't wait to see you in the next one. And I'm talking to you.